All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live. If you are here, I need to make sure all my settings are set up. As you can see, we're in the new studio. Guys, I have been gone for a week. This is the first broadcast in 7 days. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Man, I have to say, it is good to be back. So if you are here with me, let me know. Give a shout out. Hey, where you from? Yeah, we just moved from Southwest Washington over to North Idaho. It was maybe a 7-hour drive, and we have 2 kids, a 2-year-old boy and a 4-year-old daughter, and a little 5-month-old puppy. So you know it was a whole deal. It was a whole process. It was an ordeal, is the best way to put it. But we are back. After 7 days, we are back. Thank you all for coming back and bearing with me and being patient. That's the longest I've ever taken off work, maybe in my entire life. So we are back. I'm very happy. Thank you all for tuning in. We are live on Rumble. We are live on YouTube, Matt Morris TV, everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? How does it look? We're in the new house. We have a new studio, a new setup. I think the audio settings are all good. I think the video settings are good. I think everything is fine. If something is wrong, let me know. I'll get it fixed immediately. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going live a little bit earlier than normal. Normally, we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Western. Today, we're going live earlier in the day. Why? President Trump, in 28 minutes exactly, is going to be giving a special announcement, really a big announcement. We kind of know what it is, but it's still a little bit mysterious. We're going to talk about that here in a second. President Trump is going to be giving a big Oval Office national announcement. And so I think we should just get into the show and start talking about what this could be. Normally with these announcements, oftentimes we have no idea what Trump is going to say, what President Trump is going to say. Today, it seems like we do have a little bit of an idea. Seems like he's going to be talking about a lot. So today, you really want to be here for today's show because I think today is going to be a big day. So let me go ahead and transition over here. Let's talk about what we might be talking about today. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. I was worried, man, I'm gone for 7 days. Maybe nobody is going to tune into the show when I finally come back. Maybe nobody is going to like me anymore. Here we are, we're back. So thank you all very much for coming back and tuning in. So folks, first off, breaking President Trump's Oval Office announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern time, that's 27 minutes from now, will be related to the Department of Defense per Carolyn Leavitt, who is, of course, the White House press secretary. So something to do with the Department of Defense, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute because there's a lot going on. I sure picked a bad week to take off because a lot has happened in the last week. Stuff down in Mexico, stuff down in Venezuela. There was even, as far as I understand it, there was even a conspiracy that President Trump had died, that President Trump was sick, he was in the hospital. I guess that is now we know that that's not the case because he's going to be giving an Oval Office announcement in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So that conspiracy can be put into the garbage bin, but I was checking my phone and as I was moving around stuff around the house, and I said, what? What are people talking about? So anyway, today's announcement is probably relating to the Department of Defense. Let's go in a little bit more detail here. Can I zoom in on this? Yeah. The White House has stated that today's announcement from the president is related to the Department of Defense, with rumors suggesting that President Trump will officially announce his intention to rename the Department of Defense to its name prior to 1947, the Department of War, as it was known sort of during the World War II days. World War II wrapped up in 1945. Within a couple years, they name changed to the Department of Defense. Maybe it was fitting for the Cold War era. So anyway, they want to change it to the Department of War. Why? That's a little bit ominous. What are we talking about? Well, we're going to break some of this stuff down. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will become no longer the Secretary of Defense. Now he would be the Secretary of War. It is not currently known how the president intends to accomplish this rebrand, with any official change likely to require an act of Congress and not just an executive order. Keyword likely. Keyword likely. So pretty much, I guess we're going to find out. We're going to see, President Trump and his team, the Trump administration, they've got their own legal team. They know what they're doing, I think. So maybe they're going to be able to conduct this name change and kind of do a little bit of a pivot. But wait, there's more. So yes, we might be talking about the Department of Defense or the Department of War, but also we're seeing some chitter chatter talking about Space Command at 2 Eastern time, 25 minutes from now. President Trump is set to announce some news regarding the Space Command headquarters. As a lot of you might remember, during President Trump's first presidential term, he created a new branch of the U.S. military called the Space Force, headquartered, I think it was, where was it? It was originally, I believe, in Huntsville, Alabama. Joe Biden relocated it to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And so this is discussing this Space Force stuff. This is likely to only be one part or one component of today's announcement, but a component nonetheless. In some of President Trump's previous Oval Office announcements or national addresses, he's talked about a lot of different things. And so it seems like this might be one component of what we're talking about today. U.S. President Donald J. Trump is expected to announce this week, possibly as soon as today, the relocation of the headquarters for the U.S. Space Command, SpaceCom, from Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, so there's that. Now, there's a third topic that we might be talking about today. So Department of Defense becoming Department of War. The relocation of the Space Force headquarters, the Space Command headquarters. Well, there's another thing. Donald Trump has been on Truth Social all this morning talking about, can I zoom in here? Bear with me here, folks. Talking about the great city of Chicago. Some people call it Chirac because it's so deadly. There's so many gang shootings. On that note, this is what President Trump posted just a couple hours ago, earlier this morning. He said at least 54 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. In a 2 or 3 day long period, it was Labor Day weekend. In 3 days, 54 people were shot. That's a lot. You might as well be in Iraq. You might as well be in Afghanistan. It's pretty bad. Okay, 8 people were killed. 8 people were killed. Now, fun fact, about 2 weeks ago, I did some research into Chicago. I was working on a video, and that's actually the average. Every single week, around 8 people are killed in Chicago. Gun crime, gun violence. 8 people are shot and die every single week, 52 weeks in a year. Hundreds of people are shot and killed in Chicago. 8 people a week. In Washington, D.C., prior to President Trump's intervention with the National Guard, it was 4 people. So Chicago really is 8 people are getting shot. We're not even talking stabbed or whatever. This is just gun violence. It's bad. Okay, Chicago is bad. President Trump goes on to say, Chicago is the worst and most dangerous city in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly, governor. He just doesn't know it yet. How can you be the governor and you look at, my city here that's in my state, of which I am the governor, 8 individual people, eight human lives, 8 humans are being shot and killed. 54 people are being shot, 8 of which are dying. This is okay. No problem. I'm the governor here. No, it's not a problem. How the hell do you look yourself in the mirror? I don't know. Listen, President Trump, deploy the National Guard, bring them in. We need to do it to Chicago, what he did to Washington, D.C. He said, I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in Washington, D.C. Chicago will be safe again and soon. Make America great again. This is really what we're talking about. Yeah, if you want to make America great again, you've got to shut down all of this gun crime, this urban gang-affiliated gun crime, gun violence. The Bloods are shooting at the Crips, and the Latin Kings are shooting at the whatever, the Tren de Aragua, they're shooting. It's like, come on. We want to be a civilized country again. We need to stop the gang violence. We need to clean out the inner cities. We got to shut this down. How do we do it? Well, we know how to do it. Trump just did it in Washington, D.C. He used the National Guard. What did the National Guard do? They guarded the nation by shutting this down. So Trump went on to say shortly after Also this morning, he said, Chicago is the murder capital of the world. Chicago is the murder capital of the world. Frankly, I hate to say this, you probably are safer in some small Afghani village than you are in downtown ghetto Chicago. Right? Where would you rather raise a family? You've got 3 young kids. Where do you want to raise them? The small Afghani village or downtown Chicago ghetto? Honestly, I might have to pick Afghanistan because we all know how bad Chicago has gotten. It is bad. It's very bad. Now, so these are 3 topics here, okay, that we're talking about. Chicago, National Guard, cracking down, clean out the ghettos, shut down the gang violence. We're talking about Department of Defense being name changed, repurposed, swapped over to the Department of War. And we're also talking about Space Force, Space Command headquarters, maybe shifting to a new location, back to its original location of Redstone Arsenal, Huntsville, Alabama. But we don't know for sure right now. People are speculating. President Trump is going to come on out here in 19 minutes, and he's going to talk about this and break it all down. I have to say, guys, listen, you're blowing me away. We've got over 4,000 people on YouTube, over 200 people on Rumble right now. I was gone for a week. I was MIA. I was moving my family, about a 7-hour move. You guys all came back. It's our first day back. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you guys very much. We have the best community. We have the best audience. Thank you guys very much. Now, let's double back. Let's talk about this concept of the Department of War. Why might the Trump administration be looking to do this? Why? Like, that's a valid question. Right now, it's the Department of Defense. Why might we be changing this to Department of War? Well, is there anything that's going on? Are there any other kind of side tangential topics or issues, events unfolding right now that might tie into this? Well, as it would turn out, yes. The month of August was a very busy and eventful month for the Trump administration. Notably, we're going to focus on 2 countries here, Venezuela and Mexico, as a little bit of a spoiler. Now, I want to read through some notes here with you guys I prepared because there are big things happening right this very moment. Things have been escalating. They've been picking up in intensity. I think the media is not covering a lot of this. If they are, they're not doing it in the right way. August was a big month. Now it's September 2nd. Good grief. Okay, folks, as of 1 week ago, right this very moment, off the coast. In fact, I'm going to pull up a map just because maybe some people don't know. Where's Venezuela is right here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, capital, Caracas, Mexico. There it is, United States. Okay, let's talk about Venezuela real quick. Have this up on the screen. As of 1 week ago, right this very moment, off the coast of Venezuela, we have 7 U.S. warships floating off the coast of Venezuela, north of Caracas, off the coast of Venezuela, including 3 guided missile destroyers, 1 guided missile cruiser, 1 nuclear-powered submarine, 4,500 U.S. military personnel, including 2,200 U.S. Marines. Why? This is a Trump deployment, if you can call it that took place about a week ago. Why? Why did Trump do this? Why did the Trump administration do this? The Trump administration so far has said that this is part of an ongoing anti-narcotics trafficking effort. As you all know, Nicolas Maduro, who is the president, really, maybe you call him a dictator. A lot of people call him that. You know, he's effectively a narco-terrorist. This is a rogue narco state engaging in what's called narco-terrorism. And what does that word mean, narco-terror? That means that they are intentionally and deliberately exporting deadly, dangerous, life-threatening drugs, namely fentanyl, all across the world, primarily the United States, for the sole and explicit purpose of killing Americans, of doing damage to America. He is a narco-terrorist. His government is an administration of narco-terrorists. Tren de Aragua, the gang of narco-terrorists, is from, guess where? Venezuela. Okay, so the Trump administration has been, over the last 7 months, has been very critical. Critical is really an understatement of Maduro and the Venezuelan regime. Okay, so the Trump administration has deployed 7 different United States naval warships right now, they're floating off the coast of Venezuela. Like I said, 3 guided missile destroyers, 1 guided missile cruiser, 1 nuclear-powered submarine, 4,500 U.S. military personnel, 2,200 members of the U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Marines. The Trump administration has officially publicly accused Nicolas Maduro, the president or dictator of Venezuela, of leading the, quote, Cartel de los Soles. This is a drug trafficking cartel that has been designated as a foreign terrorist organization. It's called an FTO, foreign terrorist organization, by the Trump administration. So not only does Tren de Aragua come from Venezuela, they've been in our country for a long time, causing problems. Infamously, we all saw the video coming out of Colorado where Tren de Aragua had taken over an entire apartment complex. We saw the doorbell footage. They had their guns outside the door. That went viral. And so, but it's not only Tren de Aragua, it's Cartel de los Soles, which the Trump administration has accused Maduro specifically of leading. He's the leader of this terrorist organization, according to the Trump administration. Now, do you think Trump is right about this? Yeah, I think so. I think they know what they're talking about here, okay? You see, you turn on the liberal media, you turn on CNN, you turn on ABC, you turn on MSNBC, MSDNC, whatever you want to call it, they say, come on, is Venezuela really that bad? Is Maduro really that bad? Yeah, I think he's bad. I think he probably is that bad. Yeah, I think so. I think he is. I think he's not a nice guy. Okay, now, on top of all of this, regarding Maduro, 3 weeks ago, we talked a lot about this here on my show. You guys are going to remember this. 3 weeks ago, the Trump administration, well, specifically Trump's Department of Justice, issued a $50 million bounty, okay, a reward, if you can provide the DOJ with information that will lead to the arrest of who? Nicolas Maduro. Now, I looked into this. Sometimes it says dead or alive. Dead or alive. I think they want him alive. As far as I can tell, they don't want him dead. Trump's DOJ, they want him alive. They want to capture him. $50 million bounty for information that would lead to Maduro's arrest. So, hey, if anybody knows where Maduro is, okay, you can make $50 million. Easy, just like that. All right. And Pam Bondi is going to write you the check for it. Now, curiously, this is an interesting little factoid here. This $50 million bounty is the single largest bounty ever issued by the United States government in all of U.S. history. $50 million. Some other big names. Some of you might remember the Al-Qaeda leader. He was killed in 2022. His name is Ayman al-Zawahiri. He was a leader of Al-Qaeda. He had a $25 million bounty. $25 million. Okay, remember a guy, his name is Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden also likewise had a $25 million bounty. So listen, you thought Osama bin Laden was bad. You thought the leader of Al-Qaeda was bad, whatever his name is, Ayman al-Zawahiri, $25 million bounty. Combine it, $50 million for Nicolas Maduro. That's a lot of money. That's one hell of a bounty. Now, real quick, I have a super chat over here on YouTube. Once again, shout out YouTube, shout out Rumble, Matt Morse TV, everywhere. Thank you guys. Thank you for the kindness. We are so back. Okay? I promise you, I'm never taking a week off again. I've been getting messages from you guys. Where are you? You got to come back to work. There's so much going on. We are back. Officially, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I am at your service. As long as you guys keep watching, I'm going to keep on covering the news. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it. From Terry Barnes, we have this massive super chat, $20. You are the first super chat since coming back. Thank you very much, Mr. Barnes. He says, welcome back. Glad the move went well. God bless, from Kentucky, the great state of Kentucky. Thank you. We love our viewers from Kentucky. Thank you very much, Mr. Barnes. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Really, you guys are very, very nice. Now, we just got done talking about Venezuela. Okay, we have I don't know if you can call it a naval blockade. Maybe it's not a blockade, but we've got 7 U.S. naval vessels floating off the coast. Okay, now, what about Mexico? Because some things have been going on in Mexico throughout the last 3 or 4 weeks, all throughout the month of August as well. Like I said, August, excuse me, August was a big month. Okay. So in early August, around 3 weeks ago, President Trump signed a directive which authorized, this is straight from the desk of President Trump, he authorized the U.S. military to directly target various Latin American drug cartels, 6 of which, there's a lot, 6 of which, guess where they are? In Mexico, generally on the eastern coast, on the western coast here. So this is a big step. President Trump signed a presidential directive. Listen, U.S. military, I don't care where they are. If this is a Latin American terrorist cartel organization, if you think you've got a plan and to execute and take this out, then do it. That's straight from the desk of President Trump. He signed that order 3 weeks ago. Okay, some names you might recognize: the Sinaloa cartel, Jalisco New Generation, another cartel in Mexico, Carteles Unidos, and Los Viagras. Viagra? The Viagra? Anyway, that's the name of the cartel. Los Viagras, not to be confused with Viagra. All of which have been designated as, once again, this term FTO, Foreign Terrorist Organization. So what this directive really effectively does is it provides a legal basis, a legal foundation for which the U.S. military can conduct direct kinetic operations against these foreign terrorist organizations, even if they're in Mexico. President Trump has signed off on that. What does that look like? That could be drone strikes. It could be air strikes, bombing campaigns. It could be special forces, boots on the ground, special force operators, parachuting in, taking out a compound, taking out a leader, capturing a cartel leader, blowing up a drug manufacturing facility. These are the things that 3 weeks ago now, early August, President Trump signed off on. That being said, Mexico is a country, Mexico has a president, kind of. Her name is Claudia Sheinbaum. El Presidente Claudia Sheinbaum is her name. El Presidenta, El Presidento, El Presidente. I don't know. No hablo español. I speak American. Anyway, now Claudia Sheinbaum has come out over the last couple of weeks after President Trump signed this directive in which he greenlit American military action in Mexico. Claudia Sheinbaum came out and she has explicitly said on multiple occasions over the last couple of weeks that she will not tolerate, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, is not going to tolerate any American military involvement inside of her country. She's not okay with it. In fact, the notion even pisses her off. She feels disrespected. However, here's the deal. Claudia Sheinbaum. Either you are unable or unwilling to crack down on all of these terrorist organizations operating within your country. Like I said, listen, there are numerous dozens of these. Trump identified 6 of them. There are dozens, smaller ones, larger ones, medium-sized cartel, drug manufacturing, fentanyl manufacturing, foreign terrorist cartel organizations. And each of them, by the way, they almost are like private military forces. They're sort of, I think the term is paramilitary operations. They've got armored vehicles. They've got all types of weaponry. They've got stuff that it would blow your mind. They've got compounds deep out in the jungle. The Mexican government never touches them. They're scared. The cartels are bribing and killing Mexican politicians. When people call Mexico a cartel-operated nation, is it true? Yeah, in large part, yes. And so President Trump has said, listen, Claudia, hey, listen, lady. Listen, señorita. If you are unwilling to crack down on the cartel terrorist organizations that are very clearly running your country, are you even in control of your own country, or are the cartels running the country? Trump has said, listen, you are either unwilling or unable to crack down on this, and now your problem has bled across the border. It has become our problem. Listen, Claudia Sheinbaum, we're going to do something about it because your ineptitude, or whatever the problem here is, your stupidity, it's costing Americans lives. How many Americans have died as a consequence of Mexico's inability to crack down and solve their own cartel issues? So really, in a way, Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum here, in a way, I guess you could look at it like this. Her government is effectively aiding and abetting terrorist organizations, these cartels, either by, like I said, either by incompetence or maybe they're willingly working with them. They're happy to work with them. I don't know, however it is. Either way, these cartels are operating with complete and total impunity all throughout Mexico, and now they're causing problems in our country. President Trump has said, all right, enough is enough. All right, we're going to crack down on this. And so we're gonna fix the situation. If you can't fix the situation on your own, then we are going to come down there and fix the situation for you, is what President Trump's order said effectively 3 weeks ago. And so the reason why we're talking about Venezuela and the reason why we're talking about Mexico, is because one of the big announcements today is that, well, maybe we're going to be changing the Department of Defense into becoming the Department of War as it was prior to 1947. Okay? So like we said, it's a valid question. Why? Why are we name changing? Why are we swapping the name here? Department of Defense over to Department of War? Well, I don't know. So that's why we had this little lesson here, I guess, little recap of Venezuela, what's been going on over the last 3 or 4 weeks down in Latin America. It's because, well, maybe we are going to get directly involved in Mexico, more directly involved in Mexico. Maybe we are going to get more directly involved in Venezuela. I mean, hell, right? You know, like we said, we've got 7 U.S. naval vessels off the coast right now. Now, folks, this is what I need to do. I need to actually go ahead. We are 3 minutes out. President Trump is going to come on out any second now. We are 3 minutes out. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull this live broadcast up. And any minute, President Trump is going to come on out and let us know what the deal is. Like we said, you know, normally with these, excuse me, my allergies are kicking in today. Look at all the Secret Service agents up on the White House. Look at that. I see 6 of them right there, just standing guard. Anyway, you know, a lot of the time with these Oval Office announcements, we actually don't know what they're going to be talking about. Today, maybe we kind of do, and that's kind of what we've been talking about so far. Now, I want to say one more time, guys, we've been live now for about a half hour. We've got, God, the number keeps on going up. We've got, between Rumble and YouTube, we've got about 8,000 people tuning in right now. Everybody, thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in today. It is so good to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back every single day, 7 days a week. We've got the shorts. We've got the 8, 9, 10 minute long videos I like to do. And now we're doing the daily broadcasts every day, just like this, covering everything that's going on. So make sure to like today's video on Rumble and on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel on Rumble and on YouTube, Matt Morris TV. We're on X also. While we have a minute here, a little bit of a break in the broadcast, everybody make sure to follow on X. There is a link right there. Let me take a look. Where's everybody from? I see a Swedish guy is in the house. Sweden is in the house. America is in the house. I see everybody's here. In fact, I saw somebody from Mexico. He said, yeah, please, President Trump, take out the cartels. I think that's true. That's worth talking about here real quick. I think there are a lot of good, just like genuinely good people in Mexico. They are sick of their own government, of their own country being run and operated by the cartels. Imagine you're just a regular, hardworking guy living down in Mexico, trying to raise your family and have a nice life, and you got to deal with the cartels. You got to deal with the cartel-operated government. It's like, dude, we got to do something about this. This is not good. Not good at all. Look at that. Everybody's here. We got people from all over the place. We've got somebody from Deutschland, Texas, Kentucky, California, Baltimore. Everybody's here. United Kingdom. I made this was the last video that I made on my YouTube channel before I took my 7-day break. It was this video talking about what's going on in the United Kingdom. This one right here. This video did very well. Man, the United Kingdom is getting out of control. And why? What's the problem? Okay, what's the problem in the United Kingdom? Immigration. What's the problem in the United States? Immigration. What is the problem in Germany? Immigration. What is the problem in France? Immigration. What is the problem in Canada? Immigration. What is the problem all over the Western world? It's immigration. It's a certain type of immigrant. It's a never-ending amount of let's say, culturally incompatible immigrants, immigrants that are really not compatible with the culture that they're finding in our Western countries, immigrants coming into the United States and they're not really fitting in. Immigrants that are showing up in the United Kingdom. They're not really, listen, are all these immigrants showing up in London sipping tea and eating crumpets? No, they're not. They are forming gangs and chopping people's heads off and stabbing people on the subway, on the tube. Okay, I know what they're doing over there. It's not exactly a good fit. You need to sip tea and eat crumpets when you're in Britain. If you're in the United States, you got to drink a big glass of milk and have a bacon cheeseburger, okay? That's how we do it. And if you don't do that, then you got to get out. Then you need to get out of the country. Okay, when you're in France, you need to be eating the baguettes. And if you don't, bonjour, you got to go. But a lot of that is not happening. So big problem. It's a lot of these Western world countries all across Europe and North America too. A lot of our big problems are coming from immigration. Unfettered, culturally incompatible immigration, folks. Man, I have to say, I missed you guys a lot. I really am a workaholic. I'm a type A guy. I got to work all day. If I'm not working, I lose my mind. I have to be productive. And, we have been moving. It's been a big pain in the butt, moving boxes, unpacking boxes, setting furniture up. But man, my soul was aching to work. And so I'm very happy to be back. I'm very happy to be back. I really am. Hey, Matt, did I miss Trump's announcement? No, right now we are waiting on President Trump to come out in the Oval Office. Right now, Trump is actually 2 minutes behind schedule. That's not exactly abnormal. Oftentimes, Trump, these sort of announcements or Oval Office national addresses, whatever, cabinet meetings, they're oftentimes maybe 15 minutes behind schedule, sometimes 20. And so we are here. We're on standby. We're waiting for President Trump to come on out. And that's where we are. Hey, well, listen, we can't forget to mention Australia, too. Australia has a lot of these problems also. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's true. That is true. But here we are. We are back. I'm very happy to be back. You are going to still vote in Oregon as a Democrat now that you've moved. Oh, you think somebody's going to steal my identity in Oregon and vote under my name? I've spent the last 5 years living in Washington. Originally, I'm from Oregon. And then about 5 years ago, we moved up to Washington. And 5 years in Washington was enough. And now we are in North Idaho. Man, I have to say, I feel like I shouldn't say this because maybe I don't want a ton of people. I don't want to ruin it. But man, up here in North Idaho, I feel like I have discovered paradise. I feel like I'm living in paradise. And like I said, maybe I shouldn't say that because, maybe all these fine people up here in North Idaho, maybe they don't want everybody moving up here. So no, it's really bad. It's really bad. North Idaho is terrible. Do not move up here. There's nothing to see. You don't need to come up here. Stay away. But anyway, no, I'm very happy. It's very nice. Everything is good. My wife and kids are very happy. We've got 2 kids, a 2-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter, and a little 5-month-old German Shepherd puppy, and everybody's happy. I was lucky. I had my family, my mom and dad and brother and his girlfriend. They helped us out. They helped us move. And we had some movers also help us. We had a lot of stuff. You never realize how much stuff you have until you move. And then you're like, man, how did we get all of this crap? Anyway. And also we have a lot of potatoes up here. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Now, folks, if you are tuning in any minute now, President Trump is going to be holding a meeting here in the Oval Office. He's going to be holding a national address in the Oval Office. I need to flip on my headset here. And he's going to let us know what's going on. Now, the topics at hand, we did a little bit of a comprehensive breakdown of everything he could be talking about today, because frankly, we really don't know for sure. But topics that are maybe on the docket today that he might be talking about: switching the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. We might be talking about, and President Trump has kind of mentioned that before, but maybe today is the day he actually does it. I think we might be talking about Space Command, Space Force, changing the headquarters of Space Command to Huntsville, Alabama. Joe Biden, during the Biden administration, they changed the headquarters to Colorado Springs. Trump wants it in Huntsville, Alabama, so they might do that. We might be talking about a National Guard deployment in downtown Chicago. Chicago is obviously not in a good state of affairs. And so President Trump, today might be the day we are deploying the National Guard to Chicago. We got to see. Or it could be something totally out of left field that we have no idea what it's going to be about. So right now, folks, we are all on standby waiting for President Trump to come on out and let us know what is the deal. What is the deal? Now, by the way, I want to say if I ever miss anybody's super chat in Rumble or in YouTube, I want you to know I did not do it intentionally. I apologize if I miss anything. There's a lot going on. I see Yo Matt, I'm a moderator. I can mod. You know what? I think we're fine for now. Maybe I will try to find some more moderators, but if I do that, I think I've got some names in mind already. I can get that taken care of. Thank you. Can I ban somebody spamming the chat? Okay, let me take a look at chat here. If somebody really is spamming the chat, you guys know me. This is how I like to do things, okay? I really do not care, frankly, what you guys post in the chat. You could call me stupid. You could call me ugly. You could call Trump stupid and ugly. I kind of don't care a whole lot. However, do not spam the chat, okay? Really, within reason, say what you want, but just do not spam the chat. I do not like that. No spamming. So if I see that, I will shut it down. Other than that, you know, it's kind of do what you want, I guess, as long as you're not saying anything too crazy. Raya, good to see you. I'm happy to be back. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. She says, welcome back, Matt and family. Glad all went so well. God bless you, your family, and all patriots. And I echo the sentiment back at you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Hold up. God, ladies and gentlemen, I found someone spamming the chat after I said not to do it. I said don't do that. Here's another one. Okay, now I'm looking at the chat and I see people spamming the chat. Okay, I'm shutting it down. There's one. I just suspended 3 people in the last 30 seconds. We're getting this chat back on track. All right, there we go. Anyway, problem solved. Maybe problem solved. Okay, we're good. Listen, really, like I said, I really don't care what you guys say, but you can say whatever you want about me. It doesn't matter, but just do not spam. You know, this is kind of how I look at the spamming. Have you ever, boarded an airplane? You're going to find your seat on the airplane, and your seat is right next to someone who is morbidly obese, and their fat is overflowing into your seat. And so you have to wedge yourself into your own seat that you paid for, and you're brushing up against this person's fat. That's how I feel about people that are spamming the chat. It's like, dude, you're taking up space. You're taking up too much space, okay? You're taking up too much space. You got to stop taking up so much space in the live chat. So that's how I feel about it. Listen, you can do what you want in the live chat. Just do not spam the chat. You're taking up too much space. It's fine. Okay. But anyway, folks, if you're tuning in right now, President Trump right now is about 8 minutes behind schedule. We are sitting here waiting. He's going to come out any minute. Any minute now, we are going to be inside of the Oval Office. And we're going to be hearing from President Trump himself and likely various other members of his cabinet, or of his administration, rather, the big bombshell news of the day, likely relating to the DOD, to the Department of Defense. Seems like they're going to be name-changing the DOD, repurposing it to the Department of War. That might be in relation to what's going on off the coast of Venezuela. We talked about Mexico as well, and all of these foreign cartel terrorist organizations might have some relation to that. We're also going to be talking probably about Space Force and the Space Command headquarters. And today, also, we might be talking about what is going on in downtown Chicago, and we might even have a potential deployment of the National Guard to the streets of downtown Chicago, because President Trump has been tweeting, he's been truthing up a storm. He's been truthing up a storm talking about Chicago, or just a couple hours ago today, he said Chicago is the murder capital of the world. It's pretty high up there. He said at least 54 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. 8 people were killed. The last 2 weekends were similar. Chicago is one of the worst and most dangerous cities in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in D.C. President Trump posted this earlier this morning. What does this mean? Potential, maybe National Guard deployment coming up soon. Now, I do want to say real quick, if you guys are new to the show, please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure we're live on Rumble. We are live on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to like. Make sure to drop a comment. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much. It really does help a lot with all the algorithms and everything. Okay. Now, real quick, Isaac H with the super chat. He says, I hope the move went well. The move went very well. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm happy it's over. Thank God the move is over. We are here. I've got the new office set up. I did all the paneling, and I had to paint that wall, and I set everything up. We're here. I'm happy it's over. And now we can get back to work. Now we can get back to work covering the news every day. So thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Fred Samuel says, what do you consider spam in the chat? When somebody is copy pasting the same thing over and over again, it's like copy paste. It's a bit much. Okay, let's start there, and then we'll work from there. Thank you very much. Now we have a massive super chat. I see. This is from Greg Adamite. Greg Adamite, this is a $50 super chat. Thank you very much. Good to see you. He says, I gather the move went well. Matt, welcome back, brother. I'll tell you, it's very good to be back. I'm so happy I'm back. Whenever I'm not working, I kind of go a little bit crazy. I get stir crazy. I don't like to relax. I don't like to take breaks or take vacations, or all I like to do is work. My hobby is work. And so I'm happy we're back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Post Falls, Idaho. No, we are in the Coeur d'Alene area. CDA. So you know what? If anybody is in North Idaho and you see me in the Coeur d'Alene area, then come up and say hi, I guess. I'll say hey back. I'll say, hey, how do you do? Good to see you. But thank you, Greg, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I see this question down in the Rumble chat. Folks, right now we are waiting for President Trump to come out. President Trump is coming out any minute now, so we are on standby. We are on standby right now. Let me take a look real quick. One moment. Hold that thought. Okay, somebody said that Trump was talking right now, but I do not think that is the case. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything here, folks. I'll tell you what, actually, the official White House page on YouTube has not gone live yet. Okay, so I think we're still a couple minutes away from Trump coming out here, because they have not, this is the official page. They have not gone live. I'm taking a look at the Associated Press. Nothing yet. I also had, this is the Fox Live channel. Guess what? Nothing yet. And so, folks, I think we are not missing anything for the time being, but you know me, we're going to keep tabs on it. We're waiting for it right now. So there's that. There was another question I wanted to take a look at here. It said, Matt, how is the puppy doing? Yeah, we have a five-month-old German Shepherd puppy. His name is Argos, and he's doing just fine, really. He has assimilated into the new house. He's perfectly assimilated. He has a nice backyard and a great house, and we love him very much. So everything is good. We feed him lots of raw eggs. He loves raw eggs. We give him 2 a day. We try to make sure he has a good diet. I took him for a walk this morning. If you don't love dogs, then we don't love you. This is a pro dog community. We love dogs here. Also, I see another super chat right here. Take a look at this. This is Build and Fix with Mooney over here on YouTube. Says, welcome back, Matt. Try the sushi there. It's really good. You know, I've heard a lot of good things about the sushi in Coeur d'Alene. And that's kind of hard to imagine, because it's not on the coast, you know, but I don't know. I guess Coeur d'Alene has good sushi. I haven't tried it yet. I appreciate that. I love sushi. I love sushi a lot. A lot of you guys know, listen, little crazy secret fact about me. I was actually born in Japan. And then when I was 18, I worked in Japan for about a year. I was born there. My parents were living in Tokyo for about 4 years. And then my mom gave birth to me. And then when I was 4 months old, we moved back. So I was born there, but I have lived in the US my entire life. And then when I was 18, right out of high school, I went and worked in Japan and a little bit in South Korea and Taiwan a little bit for about a year. So anyway, the point is, the reason why I say that is because I love sushi. Sushi is great. We love sushi. Gotta love it. Now, I see another super chat here. This is from Light Warrior. Light Warrior, $10 super chat says, Matt, all hard work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Much love from the free state of Florida. Florida is a beautiful state. Florida really is. I think, you know, you can acknowledge something, a place is great, it's beautiful, it's awesome, but it's not for you. I think Florida is not for me, but it is great. It is beautiful. We also say, I feel the same way about Texas. I could never live in Texas. I've got family down in Texas. I don't think it's for me, but I love it. I love Texas still anyway. It's good. You can't live everywhere. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. By the way, once again, I'll say it again, folks. President Trump has not come out yet. Everybody, we are waiting for President Trump to come out right now. He's going to conduct this whole shindig in the Oval Office here any minute. Now, it seems like he is a little bit behind schedule here because, once again, I'm checking the official White House page on YouTube. They have not even gone live yet. They have not started their broadcast. So, folks, I think that we are just, we are living on the Trump schedule. We are waiting for Trump to come out. That's fine. Man, my nose is something else today. I'm super stuffy today. I see a super chat here from Engineering. He says, French Mastiff puppy here, lol, already 120 pounds. That's a big dog. He saw your puppy on the screen a while back and began to whine, wanting to play. Hey, maybe someday. Maybe someday. That is one hell of a puppy. That's a lot of dog. That's a lot of dog. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you and your puppy are doing just fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now I see this one here. Man, 3 days was too long. Missed you, brother. I was hoping you would move to Boise so I could bump into you. If they have a Boise fry company, need to try. I'll try it out. Yeah, if I can find one up here. Thank you. You know, I've been to Boise. Boise's nice also. I'm really partial to the trees and the forests, and so North Idaho has that a little bit more than southern or central Idaho. For me, I gotta have the classic Pacific Northwest forests. Gotta have it. I appreciate that though. Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. That really means a lot. I appreciate that. There was something else I wanted to take a look at here. I see this comment, Trump is literally dead. You guys are coping. You know, okay, I was gone. By the way, it wasn't 3 days. It ended up being 7 days. I have not made any content, videos, or live broadcasts for 7 days. I was moving. It took a long time. So that's why I'm very happy to be back. I thought it might have only been 3 or 4 days, but it became 7 days. Now, the comment said, Trump is literally dead. Like I said, I was gone for 7 days. However, I was checking my phone. I was seeing what people were talking about. There was this whole conspiracy theory that Trump died. Over the last week or so, that Trump was in the hospital. He was out of the hospital. He had some medical emergency. So I've seen people on Twitter saying that Trump is dead. That obviously is not the case. It seems to not be the case. There were photos of him like at the golf course the other day or 2 days ago. He's doing this Oval Office thing today. I think he's probably not dead. I think he's probably alive. Obviously, he has been posting on Truth Social like 10 times a day, as he tends to do. He likes to post on Truth Social. So I think he's probably alive. I suppose today we will get a concrete confirmation regarding that topic. But, you know, these crazy conspiracies pop up. And that's how it goes. There's always something going on. There's always some conspiracy to talk about. Now, big, massive super chat from Richard Cosgrove. That's a big one. Thank you, Richard. Mr. Cosgrove, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Sincerely, thank you. He says, thank you for doing the research. I'm like you, working many hours. You know what they say? I guess if you love what you do, if you love to work, then every day you're in heaven, you're living in paradise. If you love to work, then you work and you're loving your life. That's kind of how I am. You know, granted, however, some jobs are easier to love than others. You know, not all jobs or lines of employment are as lovable as others. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I have a great job, and I guess my job is covering the news and talking about the news with you guys. So really, I am very blessed. I remember a long time ago, now I'm 31, in my teens and 20s, we did not have a lot of money. We were not a wealthy family, to say the least. in my teens and 20s, I was doing all of the nasty jobs, cleaning toilets. There was a point, you guys know Portland, Oregon? There was a point where I had a job cleaning the city buses at the end of the night when the buses, the city buses, the public transportation buses, they'd come back into the bus corral and I would clean the buses. And so these buses would come in late at night, coming off the streets of Portland, and imagine all of the nastiest, grossest things that you could find on a bus. And guess whose job it was to clean it up? It was my job to clean it up. So I'm not going to go through the bullet point list of all of the nasty things I found on these buses, but you can imagine drug paraphernalia, all just human, disgusting, gross liquids, disgusting. So I've had all these nasty jobs. So hey, I know how blessed I am, how fortunate I am now to be able to sit in front of a computer and talk to you guys and cover the news and edit my videos and do the research and do this. So really, I'm very fortunate. And hey, I think a lot of streamers or podcasters or, you know, content creators, I think a lot of these guys, they forget that without the audience, without you guys, without you, there is no me. Without you, there is no me. Imagine if 0 people tuned into the show, well, then there would be no show. There would be no show. So you guys really are the most important component of this entire situation, because without you, there's no me. So really, I do appreciate it. I'm very blessed. I appreciate it a whole lot. Very lucky. But you know, at a more foundational level, I think every day you're alive, you're lucky. If you're alive, you're lucky. As long as your heart is still beating, you're lucky. Now, Andriy Shosin, hey, I appreciate that super chat a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Good to see you. I see some new people tuning in, tuning out. I want to say, if you are tuning in right now, we are waiting for President Trump. He's getting ready inside of the Oval Office. He's going to give his big Oval Office national announcement here any second. It was scheduled to take place 22 minutes ago. So we are about 20 minutes overtime or behind schedule, whatever you want to call it. But frankly, that's kind of the way that it goes sometimes. You know, we are living on Trump's time. Trump is not living on our time. We are living on his time. And so he's going to come out whenever he is ready, I guess, whenever he gets his act together. But as a little bit of a recap, what might we be talking about today? Because once again, we don't always know what these Oval Office addresses are going to be about. Sometimes we don't know. So people are speculating right now. Maybe we're going to be talking about changing the Department of Defense into the Department of War. We might be talking about that as it relates. The reason why. Why might we do that? Department of Defense into the Department of War. Why? Well, there's some action been unfolding down in Mexico and Venezuela. Right now, we have 7 different naval military vessels off of the coast of Venezuela. We did a big comprehensive breakdown of that entire situation about a half hour ago. To say the least, the Trump administration, Trump himself, they're not the biggest fans of Maduro, who is the president or maybe dictator of Venezuela. He is the allegation coming from the Trump administration is that Maduro is himself a narco-terrorist, or at a minimum, aiding and abetting and facilitating narco-terrorists. And so seems like something is about to pop off in Venezuela. Seems like things are happening in Venezuela. Okay, so as such, we might be changing the Department of Defense into the Department of War. That might be one topic we're talking about today. Another topic might be Space Force and changing the headquarters of Space Command back to Huntsville, Alabama, which is where it was a couple years ago. Joe Biden got in the White House and then changed the headquarters of Space Command all the way over to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Trump wants it back in Huntsville, Alabama. So we might be talking about Space Force, Space Command today. You might remember during Trump's first term in the White House, 2017 to January of 2021, Trump created what was effectively a new branch of the U.S. military, Space Force. Okay, so we might be talking about that today. And also, of course, we're talking about Chicago. We might be talking about a National Guard deployment into the streets of Chicago. We got to see. So these are 3 potential topics, maybe even likely topics of what we are talking about today. But, you know, there's a multitude of other things that we could be talking about today as well. We could be talking about something with Russia and Ukraine, could be talking about something over in the Middle East, maybe Gaza, Israel, Iran. Who knows? Really, who knows? You know, almost always as we are waiting on the edge of our seat like we are now to hear what Trump is going to say in these Oval Office addresses, frankly, we don't know. The White House doesn't really give us a lot of warning on what they're going to be talking about at these Oval Office addresses. So we just kind of have to wait and speculate and then see whatever they have to say, whatever he has to say. I see this comment that says from Valkyria, we need the National Guard in every major city. Listen, hey, you can call me whatever you want. Call me an extremist, call me an authoritarian. I don't care. If it were up to me, if I was in President Trump's shoes right now, I would send the National Guard into every single sanctuary city in the country. These sanctuary cities are operating in direct, explicit defiance of federal immigration law. The American people democratically came together to pass immigration legislation. The sanctuary cities are saying, actually, we don't really care about that. We don't care about the democratic consensus of the American people. We don't care about our federal immigration legislation. And so we're actually, instead of not only not enforcing federal immigration legislation, we are going to aid and abet illegal alien invaders, and we're going to give them free money, free government subsidies, food assistance, housing assistance, etc., Social Security in some cases, good Lord, Medicare, Medicaid. We're going to cover their medical expenses. Who's paying for it? All at the expense of hardworking American taxpayers. So yeah, if it were up to me, I would send the National Guard into every single sanctuary city. So I guess maybe as far as these sanctuary city mayors and sanctuary state governors are concerned, they're lucky that I'm not president right now. Listen, Compared to where I would be right now, Trump is actually Mr. Nice Guy. Trump is going easy on these sanctuary cities. I'd already be all the way over there. Okay, so but hey, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe thank God I'm not president. Now I want to take a look here at Rumble Chat. Down in Rumble Chat, I see the gaming Murph. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He says, I just found out about that Oregon Democrats just doubled our state income tax to pay for public transportation official salaries. The head of TriMet makes over $400K a year, and our buses are full of fent heads. Imagine, wow, corruption in a Democrat-operated state and Democrat-operated city like Portland. Wow, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. That's insane. You know, normally in sort of like in a private enterprise scenario, privately owned business scenario, you know, if you were in charge of operating Portland City public transportation, you would be fired immediately. You would lose your job immediately. You would be fired. Instead, he has his salary doubled. He says his salary has been doubled. Amazing. I believe you. I believe you. I know how bad these cities are, how terribly they've been operated. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that too. Thank you very much. Now, something massive over here in the Rumble chat. This is Fatcon's disciple, Faction's disciple. I want to make sure I get your name right. He just gifted 10 users Rumble Premium down in the Rumble chat. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Down in the Rumble chat, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Mr. Disciple, thank you. Falcon's disciple. Sorry, I'm a little bit stupid. Falcon's disciple is his name. Thank you very much. I want to make sure I get that name right. Thank you. Here's the thing you need to know about me. I'm a little bit stupid. Thank you very much. Now up here in the YouTube chat, head over to Rumble for Matt Moore's TV. Just dropped 10. That was you. Wow, great timing, impeccable timing. That was him. He says, head on down to the Rumble chat. I just gifted 10 Rumble Premium memberships, dropping 10 more. And that's Matty C. He's Mr. Falcons. Thank you. Hey, listen, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wow, what timing. Crazy timing. Thank you. Now, folks, once again, okay, I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on here. If you are tuning in, President Trump is set to step out into the Oval Office really 29 minutes ago. 29 minutes ago, Trump was supposed to come out here and let us know what is the deal. And we are a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Now, Blaze Masters over here on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you very much. He became a subscriber or a supporter up here on YouTube. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, I want you guys to say, when we stepped into our house, we moved into a new house. That's where we were. That's where I was for 7 days. That's why I was gone. Can I tell you, I'm not lying here either. One of the first things my wife said when we stepped into our new house, we just got done moving. We got the keys, we turned the lock, we stepped in. My wife was so happy, and she said, listen, you need to make sure to tell everybody thank you on YouTube and Rumble, because it's your guys' support. It's tuning in on YouTube and Rumble, and it's the super chats, and it's the memberships, and everybody here. It's the support. So really, that was my wife. She says, whenever you go live next, do a live show, you got to make sure to let everybody know. Thank you very much. So that's coming from my wife. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I did. I know I see you guys to say I missed you. I missed you guys too. Really, I did. I was going crazy. I'm really happy to be back. I really am. I really, really am. This is from Fred. He says, if it was me, we would be under martial law until we deport every illegal alien. The country, hey, listen, you can't even be blamed for that opinion, because the country has been invaded. There have been tens of millions of illegal aliens that have flooded into the country during the Biden era. And even before that, guys, listen, our border crisis and illegal immigration problem, this did not begin in January of 2021. It's been going on for decades. We've had illegal aliens sneaking in the country for decades. And finally now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're aware of the context here. What is going on right this very moment is the single largest deportation and remigration effort that has taken place in this country since 1954. What happened in 1954? It was called, pardon my language, it is the name. It was called Operation Wetback. In 1954, the U.S. carried out an endeavor, Operation Wetback, during which they deported tens of thousands of illegal aliens. Generally, they were located in the southwest of the U.S. They kicked them back down into Mexico. And before that, there was a remigration program in the late 1920s and early 1930s called the Mexican Repatriation Program. Likewise, they deported a bunch of illegal aliens. So listen, guys, we've been struggling with immigration problems, with illegal immigration problems for hundreds of years, like literally over 100, maybe over 200. Throughout our entire country's history, we've had people trying to sneak in the country, and we've always been combating this, trying to get them out, enforce the border, make sure people are not sneaking, and making sure, really, the best way to put it, making sure that the only people coming in the country are desirable people. You know, immigration, maybe it's okay, but you need to be a desirable immigrant. A lot of people on the left, I've got a lot of friends and family that are leftists. In fact, I've got family members that are radical progressives. You got to love them anyway. They're your family members. But, you know, one of the things I hear from people on the left is that they say, well, think about how good it is. Think about how good it is for the immigrants to come to America. Their quality of life, their opportunities, whatever, it goes up. That's why they want to be here. That's why we need to let them in. And I say, listen, hold up. America first. Let's talk about what's in it for America. Let's talk about what's good for America. Is it good for America to take 10 million people from Venezuela or 10 million people from God knows where else? I say from sub-Saharan Africa or from across the middle. I say, listen, we need to focus on what is good for America, not what's good for them. America first. That's my counter argument. That is my prerogative. If the immigration is good for America, okay, we can talk about it. But if it's clearly not, then we got to shut it down. We need to have a very rigid immigration policy. Personally, I think we need to go back to a pre-1965 immigration policy. We got to bring back the Hart-Celler Act pre-1965. It was 1965 when our immigration policy was completely overturned. Really, so to speak, the floodgates were opened. Who here is a little bit of an older member of today's audience? Maybe you are 70, 80, 90. You've been around for a little while. You were alive in 1965. You were a young adult in 1965. You might remember that's kind of when everything changed. You know, the country really demographically, culturally really took a big shift after 1965. And the reason why is because the Hart-Celler Act got overturned. The immigration floodgates were opened up. And at that point, America pretty much became a free-for-all. Really, it did. And so, as you might have noticed, if you're a little bit of an older member of the audience, yeah, the country this is not the country you grew up in. If you were a kid in 1955 or 1965, kids these days don't have that same experience. It's a little bit of a different country. And one of the primary reasons is because of all of this unfettered immigration coming from places where maybe we should not be taking immigrants from, frankly. I hate to say it, but maybe we should not be. There seems to be some cultural incompatibility issues. Hey, Matt, I was born in the 1800s. Whoa, hey, listen, you probably fought in the Civil War. You fought in the Civil War, the Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. Excuse me, man, my nose is stuffy today. Now, folks, I need to say one more time. Right now, if you're tuning in, President Trump is just a little bit behind schedule. And by a little bit, what I mean is 35 minutes. I'm doing my best to keep the show going here. Come on, President Trump, any minute now. Let me go over and take a look at the official White House page. Has President Trump have they gone live on the official White House page? Because every time they do one of these Oval Office addresses, they will broadcast it from the official government page right here. I see that they are not even live yet. They have not even started their broadcast. We have the Associated Press getting ready. We have, this is the Fox live broadcast. They are likewise getting ready. So, hey, any minute now, President Trump is going to come on out. Right now, we have a beautiful view of the White House. The White House, I think this is technically the back lawn. This is the back lawn, I think. More American facts, Matt. American factoids, huh? You think I just need to start rattling off tidbits of American history? Well, I don't know. It was 1898 when we had the Spanish-American War, and then we beat the Spanish, and then we took the Philippines and Guam and Puerto Rico from them. There you go. There's another fun fact. Okay, now I'm trying to open up Twitter, or X as it is known, X. Maybe there's an update here. Are they behind schedule? What is the deal? Well, clearly they're a little bit behind schedule. We are 37 minutes behind schedule, but that's okay. Hey, by the way, down in the Rumble chat, this is Falcon's Disciple. I got the name right. Thank you very much. Another 10. He just gifted another 10 Rumble premium subscriptions down in the Rumble chat. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that a lot. You are all over the place. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, folks, that's a big deal. Thank you. Thank you very much. I see real quick. This is coming out of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is set to authorize up to 600 military lawyers as temporary immigration judges. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's breaking news hot off the press right now. 600 military lawyers are going to be repurposed by the Pentagon. This is hot off the press. Repurposed by the Pentagon to act as immigration judges. The reason why? Why? To help expedite the process, expedite the rate at which all of these illegal immigrants can be processed through the legal system and deported. So you have all these radicals on the far left. They're saying, due process, every single illegal alien, due process. First off, the first thing that must be said here is, did any of them give one crap about due process when they illegally invaded, they snuck into our country? By the way, we have federal immigration laws. We have a border. They snuck in. Did any of these illegal alien invaders care about our due process on the way in? No, of course not. They invaded the country illegally. However, their friends in the Democratic Party, all of these far left radical progressives, oh, if you want to get rid of them, though, due process. So now what has President Trump said? President Trump said, listen, hey, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 600 military lawyers. We're going to repurpose them as immigration judges, and we're going to start mass expediting the deportation process for all of these people. We are getting them out. And thank God, that's great news. Thank God. That little tidbit is hot off the press. Once again, folks, if you are tuning in, President Trump is set to go live in the Oval Office any second now and let us know what is the news of the day. I'm going to reload this and see here. Is the official White House broadcast live yet? The answer is no. Really, there are just tens of thousands of people sitting on the edge of their seat right now waiting for President Trump to go live in the Oval Office. Right now, we are about 39 minutes behind schedule. So, hey, I'm with you guys. I am with you guys. I see this guy in the chat. He says, Deutsch Chad. He says, I'd like no immigration, legal or illegal. This is my take. This is my thing. I think there are cultures and nations where the immigrants coming from them are a little bit more compatible with America than maybe some other places around the world. So let's come up with a couple examples. Do we have a problem with Swedish immigrants? No. Swedish immigrants, Sven from Sweden, or Gertrude or whatever a Swedish girl's name is, they're not exactly causing problems. They seem to assimilate just fine. They're not exactly causing issues. Are Hans and Gretel from Germany, are the German immigrants causing problems when they come in the country? They seem to be doing just fine. Okay, I don't think we have an issue with German immigrants. Do we have an issue with, Scottish immigrants? Let's say a Scottish woman wants to come live in the U.S. Is that really a problem for the country? Or Norway, or maybe a Finnish guy? Is that causing a lot of issues? I don't particularly think so. I think the big problem we have, immigrants that are, first off, culturally incompatible. Let's put it that way. But also, there's another problem that nobody talks about. If you take so many immigrants from one place so fast, what tends to happen is these immigrants, they tend not to assimilate. Rather, they end up making cultural or ethnic sort of enclaves or ghettos where they just kind of remain amongst their own. They build their own little bubble inside of the U.S., and it's very easy for them to do that. Let's use Mexico as an example, right? Because we've taken so many Mexican immigrants in this country, what ends up happening is they make their own Spanish-speaking Mexican communities all across the U.S., where if we were taking fewer immigrants from Mexico, as an example, the Mexican immigrants that we did let in, they would be forced to assimilate into English-speaking American culture because there would be no cultural or ethnic enclaves where they could reside and not be forced to assimilate. So it's a problem of taking, it's a twofold problem. It's taking too many people at once, and it's also taking too many people from places that are maybe culturally incompatible, right? And really, if you want to talk about the cultural incompatibility aspect of this, okay, I'm an American man. I really am genuinely, thoroughly as American as can be. I think it's fair to say that. I love America. I am American. If you were to strap a parachute to my back and kick me out of an airplane over some little tribe in let's talk about Afghanistan. If you were to put me in an Afghani tribe and I had to live in this Afghani tribe for the rest of my life, would I ever become Afghani? Would I ever perfectly assimilate into Afghani tribal culture? No, I wouldn't, because I'm an American. Maybe in some way I might try to learn their language. I might try to adopt some customs, I guess, because I have to live there the rest of my life. I guess I would kind of have to. But would I ever become thoroughly, completely, in every single regard, Afghani? No, of course not. Absolutely not. And so I think we all agree. So flip the situation here. If you were to take an Afghani tribes member and put them on the streets of downtown Los Angeles or downtown wherever, would they ever become thoroughly American? No, they wouldn't. They would not. Let's be honest, they would not. So there are some cultural incompatibility issues to say the least. They do things a little bit differently over here. It's true. Differently over there, differently over here. Now, this is, I saw somebody say that right now we are 43 minutes late. That is true. They're live on the official White House page. Is that the case? They are, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to happen soon. I appreciate everybody here that is tolerating my rambling and my monologuing. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for the patience. This show, the President Trump Oval Office address was scheduled to start 44 minutes ago. And so we are a little bit behind schedule, but hopefully we're doing a good job of stalling. We're stalling a little bit, but that's okay. No, I appreciate it. Really, I do. Thank you, guys. It's a pretty good comeback show. This is my first show in 7 days. In 7 days. And I'm very happy to be back. So thank you all for coming back. Right now we have, God, I don't know, Lord knows we have over 12,000 people tuning in. I better not make any mistakes. That would be pretty embarrassing to make a mistake in front of 12,000 people. I better be careful with what I say. All right, but no, listen, so folks, President Trump, the Trump administration, they are getting ready inside of the Oval Office. The official White House government YouTube page has just gone live, which means the show is about to commence any minute now. So, hey, any minute now. I think generally the best coverage actually comes from the Associated Press. I like the Associated Press live broadcast, so we're going to keep an eye on this one specifically, but we'll keep an eye on the official broadcast as well. But ladies and gentlemen, any minute, the Associated Press normally has some like background footage where they're walking into the Oval Office, they're walking out of the Oval Office. So I'm ready to go. I saw somebody ask how much money it cost to pay for my new studio. You know, you're not going to believe it. I set up all of this by myself. The paneling on the back, I don't know, was maybe like $400. I saved up some money. I bought some fake plants. I bought some fake trees. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not exactly a home designer. I'm really not. I'm a little bit handy. I can work a hammer and a nail, but I'm not exactly a home designer. But I think it's fine enough. I think it looks pretty good considering I did it myself. I'm not a pro by any means. Didn't cost too much. I think it looks fine for what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, President Trump is coming out any minute now. You like the fake plants? You love the fake plants? All right, let's go. It's all about the fake plants. It's all about the fake plants. You got to have them. Looks nice. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I did it myself. Okay. Now, it is true, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are 46 minutes behind schedule, but that's okay. Listen, we are on Donald Trump time. Donald Trump is not on Matt Moore's time. We are on Donald Trump time. That is where we are. Where was I? I was moving for 7 days. We moved all the way from Southwest Washington over to North Idaho. It was about a 7-hour drive. We had 2 different U-Hauls. I had some help from some family members. My mom and my dad and my brother came over and helped us move. And they were visiting up here for a couple days. We were kind of exploring the town and checking out the area. So anyway, yeah, it was 7 days. I was gone for 7 days, but now we are finally back, and I'm very happy to be back. I'm happy to be back. Really, now that I'm back, I want President Trump to come back. Come on back, President Trump. Come on out. Oh, there he is. Here we go. Here we go, folks. I'm going to turn on my headset here. Hold up. We should be going here.
I think I can say this group is every one of them. I rate a 10. I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans, and these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular, so congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trump is alive. He's not dead.
This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions, because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loved you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach, and I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that out.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, that's right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force, so important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia, and now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada
Golden
called.
Dome.
They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Secretary of what?
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DOD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead, because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary Hesek said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin,
Impressive.
and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the President for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
There you go.
JD, would you like to say something?
Sure.
Trump seems healthy,
Mr.
right?
President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There it is.
Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Mike, do you want to
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command.
Not real. That
if
is
y'all
fake
remember,
hair.
at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political. even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs, and that's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you.
So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now? You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Tuberville talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
I'm glad it's
well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why
fake news.
The media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
Something else. We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and but I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past
We'll talk
week?
about that.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the
Yeah,
past
I
week?
don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will
and what
be.
could those consequences
We're going to
be?
see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe, but
Send him in.
2 weeks ago they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to L.A. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
Oh, good.
When you lose, look, I have an
All right.
obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help.
Imagine that.
We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world.
Very bad.
But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C., is now a safe zone. It's a safe place, and you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Mr. President, as you're calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime, do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters, not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And, you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great, he's not, we're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is but he got up and said, we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. A lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy.
It's true.
Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling, and that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
Imagine.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI. generated.
So,
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that, because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
Wow.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think.
Yeah.
So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are all, they're all
gotta be
sealed. You can't
AI.
open them.
It's AI. I don't know.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know. It works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it, because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan in your
Well,
social
it certainly
media
is.
posts.
It certainly
and
is.
in fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs, because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it, because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now, and we're able to, you know, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars.
That's what they want.
And by the way, all these
want
countries signed
devastation.
agreements, as an example. They signed, they're all happy, everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor, because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling, because, you know, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, you know, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance, because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. but we need 60 votes, and we need, a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money, and here's the thing.
We're making a lot of money.
We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion, and they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was
with Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about it, I do too, about this.
Sure, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand,
India.
For many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we, therefore, weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley-Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, more traditionally, car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada, a lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for 2 reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number 2, the tariffs are protecting them. And number 3, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. When you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
in light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats and violence?
Religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done, and we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. We'll get somebody else. The problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. And they cheat like, They're not stupid. That's the
whatever
only thing.
reason.
They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating. And they stick together, too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean, this, go ahead.
Please go.
This is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center, and so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs.
3,000 spin off.
With 3,000 spin off. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question.
There you go.
For a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans. Just recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Can you just
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late. He's way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person. But he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But, yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big.
That is true.
In the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we've built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations, asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden-era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Yeah. Now, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews. But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here. You know, for 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level, using great architects and all. And, you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, you know, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. We'll do the whole tunnel instead of, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. They've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. It's going to be, you'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries being some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
President March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge. But very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There you have it. That's a big painting of Ronald Reagan.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, press. Thank you. Thank you. Let's head out. Let's go, guys. Thank you. Thanks, press.
Get the hell out of here.
Thanks, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, press.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is President Trump's Oval Office address, September 2nd. 2025. Now, folks, we have a big, massive super chat from Kai. Thank you very much in the YouTube chat, Kai. Thank you very much for that super chat. Folks, yeah, for the last 3 or 4 days, I've been seeing all over Twitter, X, as it's called, everybody has been saying, Trump is dead. President Trump died. The White House is covering it up. He went to the hospital. He had a stroke. He's secretly this or that. Listen, President Trump just got up here in front of the Oval Office, in front of the nation, really, inside of the Oval Office, and spoke for a solid hour, maybe closer to 90 minutes. I'm not sure. I was trying to, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional, but I was taking a look at him. I was looking at his hands. Are his hands shaky? Did his face seem gaunt? Did he look dehydrated? Were his eyes sunken back? Did he look strange? Was he low energy? I don't think so. I think he seemed pretty fine. I think he seemed healthy. He seemed normal. He seemed like how he always is, pretty much. So, I think really what happened was Trump is giving the media so much exposure ever since he got back in the White House 7 or 8 months ago that if he ever just kind of takes 2 or 3 days off over, his Labor Day weekend, if he just kind of stops talking to the media for 2 or 3 days, then everybody loses their mind. It's really a testament to just how much access he's giving the media. He's always given interviews and press conferences. He took 2 days off over Labor Day weekend and everybody thought that the guy was dead. It really is just astounding. And then like Trump said himself, you go back and you look at Joe Biden, guys, we would go 6 months or more without even hearing from the president. I feel like everybody in this country has forgotten just how bad things were under Joe Biden. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people have. It's like, guys, it was bad. This country was bad. Okay, we pretty much didn't have a president. I remember there was like an 8-month-long segment where we didn't even hear from Biden himself for 8 months. What's up with that? Who's running the country? You got the auto pen. The border was wide open. Kamala Harris is cackling like a hyena. It's like an evil hyena from the movie The Lion King or whatever. Really just something else. Thank God she's not in the White House right now. I wonder what she is up to. Kamala. Every time I would say Kamala Harris, there would be some radical leftist that would say, hey, it's not Kamala, it's Kamala. I'm like, that's what I said. What? What do you mean it's not Kamala? It's not, hey, you bigot. It's not Kamala, it's Kamala. Huh? So I guess I still can't pronounce her name properly. Who cares? Thank God, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, everybody thought that Trump had died over the weekend. Just nuts. Oh yeah, we were talking about the school shooting problem. Yeah, there was this was probably 6 days ago. There was that massive school shooting where a 20-something-year-old individual went into school and did something terrible. I'm starting to notice a trend. I have a pretty solid pattern recognizing brain. My brain is good at recognizing patterns. And ladies and gentlemen, I am beginning to recognize a pattern. And the pattern is, for the last couple years, almost every single one of these recent school shooters over the last 10 years or so, they have something in common. They all have something in common. All of them seem to be suffering from something it's called gender dysphoria. They think they're one gender, they think they're one sex, really they're another sex or another gender, whatever the term you want to use. They think they're something they're really not. Listen, back in the day, if you rewind 12, 13, 14 years ago, this mental illness, it is a mental illness, gender dysphoria, this was classified terminologically definitively in the DSM. This was a mental illness. This was a mental illness is how this was classified. Maybe 12 years ago, something like that, 10 years ago, they reclassified it. So for the last 10 or 12 years, now it's not a mental illness. I think we need to classify this as a mental illness again. Listen, and by the way, I'm sorry to any of my Second Amendment libertarian viewers in the live chat here. These people should not be allowed to own guns. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to trample on the Second Amendment here just a little bit. These people are mentally ill. We already have a precedent for this. People that have been in mental asylums or mental health institutions, if you have super serious depression or suicidal tendencies, those people already don't get to own guns, okay? They do not get to own guns already. So we already have the precedent here. There's already legislation on the books that's kind of like that. Listen, this whole gender dysphoria thing, trans health, transgenderism thing, listen, I've seen enough. These people should not be able to own firearms because the same situation is happening just time and time again. That's how I feel. You want to reopen the asylums. Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, he shut down a lot of these asylums. We got to reopen them. Now, by the way, a lot of people point to Ronald Reagan shutting down the asylums. I guess slightly in Ronald Reagan's defense here, when Ronald Reagan shut down all these mental asylums across the country, he then decided to give federal block grant money in the form of federal block grants to the individual states so that the states could take care of themselves. Guess what has happened? A lot of the states have, generally Democrat left-leaning progressive states, they have spent this federal block grant money in incompetent, stupid ways, and their mental health problems in a lot of these blue states, Democrat states, have spiraled out of control. But Ronald Reagan's plan was, all right, we're gonna get the federal government out of this mental health crisis. We're gonna put together block grants, funding packages, and give the money directly to the states. I think enough time has passed. We've seen the results. I think we can say that has backfired. I think that plan has, maybe it was good intentioned or properly intentioned. Has not really worked out so well. In some states it has, in other states it has not. I think maybe we need to reopen the asylums, but anyway, or the mental health houses, whatever you want to call them. But anyway, yeah, we need to categorize this gender dysphoria situation as a mental illness, and stop these people from owning firearms. You should not be able to purchase a firearm. But hey, that's just like my opinion, and I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So, folks, that really is the show. That's the big show for the day. This was my first live broadcast with you guys here in 7 days. I was gone for 7 days. I was moving from Southwest Washington up to North Idaho So thank you all for your patience. We are finally back. I am back. Full steam ahead every day, 7 days a week, videos, broadcasts, short form content. You guys might have noticed now we're doing shorts on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, on the Facebook page. So we're Matt, and by the way, make sure to follow me everywhere, Matt Morris TV everywhere. Before I go, I suppose I should make sure that you guys follow me on X or Twitter. Make sure to follow on X and Twitter. That really is the best place to follow to make sure you guys are up to speed. But ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. So I'm going to wrap up today's broadcast. Shout out to the viewers in Rumble, Matt Morris TV on Rumble. Shout out to the viewers on YouTube, Matt Morris TV on YouTube. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on another live broadcast. Whatever's happening tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. And I think today I'm going to go right now, get to work on making a video for you guys after I have lunch, of course. So thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a great night. Have a great morning, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. It is very good to be back. Thank all of you guys once again for your patience and understanding. Thank you guys for tuning in.